Hello! Welcome. If you guys are new here, I'm Jerica from the Realistic Homestead, and today we are making one of my very favorite things, bread. And I thought that if I was going to make one batch, that I might as well make two because it freezes easily, but I also wanted to see what we could make with bread dough. So not just normal sandwich bread, we're going to see a couple different things that we can make with dough that you can just either have it as a different meal or a dessert or a side. And so first we are going to make a pizza skillet. We're going to put in our cast iron here, we're going to put some balls of dough around here with a dip in the middle. So when it cooks, it gets nice and creamy, and when you pull it off, then you can just dip it. This would be perfect for a Saturday a Sunday that is coming up in the near future for all of you sports fans. That would not be me. This would be more of just a little family get-together thing. But so that's what we're gonna do first, and we have our first batch of dough here. I'm not gonna show you guys how to make the dough. Anyways, I thought of this after I was already in the process. So we're just going to make some, I'm going to try and get the balls as even as possible so that it's not just like, so I'm actually going to weigh them out and we'll see about what a good size. I'm just gonna set them around. I'm gonna spray this really well. I'm gonna set them around here until we have a whole line of them. So what was that, 20 something grams? Let's see, I can't remember. 21, okay. So you got a little bit less. 23, good enough. Whenever you make bread, you shouldn't plan on going anywhere, because you never know if it's going to rise faster or slower or... Okay, so this is what I've got going on. I've got all these little balls around here. I'm putting this in there to save room for the dip, so that when we go ahead to go cook it, I can take this out. Oh, I might need to spray that with some oil so that it doesn't stick to all the dough. But when we go to cook it, we're gonna take this out. We're gonna let these rise. Then we're gonna take this out and replace it with the dip so that the dip cooks and gets all melty and cheesy at the same time that the balls are cooking. So we just need to cover this and wait till it rises. The second thing that we are going to make with this dough is going to be monkey bread. And I'm going to kind of base it off of a recipe, but also not. When I was younger, my dad would open a can of biscuits, and well, it was probably my mom, but for some reason I remember my dad doing it. But he would open up the can of biscuits, cut them in quarters, roll them in butter, and then roll them in cinnamon sugar, and that would be like a awesome Saturday morning treat for us. I don't believe we had it very often, but yeah, we're gonna make some monkey bread. I'm going to roll them in butter, I'm gonna roll them in cinnamon sugar, and then I'm gonna see if I can find like a caramel thing to put on it. But this dough that I have here is rising, so we need to get a use for it. And I am going to cut these up in little tiny balls, just like we did for the pizza skillet, but I'm actually gonna cut them in half. So even smaller, so about 10 grams per little dough thing, because when you grab it, you don't just want dough, you want a nice bite that has cinnamon, sugar, butter, all the gooey goodness. So we're gonna make little balls for this one. Now I'm gonna make this in a mini bundt pan because I already have a lot of sweet treat things going on here. But you can make this in whatever size bundt pan you want, and you just add as much dough as you want. And actually, when I was younger, we just made it in a 9x13 or an 8x8, depending on how much dough you had. It doesn't have to look fancy at all, just needs to taste delicious. Okay, I'm gonna see how far that gets us. I'm going to actually put this dough in the fridge covered. Okay, here I've got my butter, my cinnamon sugar. Ooh, I should switch that spot so that it's just boom, boom, boom. Just gonna roll these in here, then roll them in here. And if you don't put butter on these, they will not, the cinnamon sugar will not stick very well. Ooh, I should be rolling these, but I'm not. Awesome. I probably should have spread out my dough making a little bit more. I made two recipes, which are supposed to make 2 loaves each, but for us, they make about 6 mini loaves, which is great for us, but now I got a lot of dough to work with and not very much time. I should have thought that one out a little better, but oh well, here we are. I made this a couple weeks ago with just the amount of dough pretty much that it would be in 1 mini loaf. And I didn't roll it in butter because I thought, anyways, I just didn't. And it did not stick like at all. I had to make a glaze to put on it because it was not working out for us. Okay, that should be just about perfect. I'm going to put some saran wrap on this and actually put it in the fridge so that I can slow the rising process because I have to go get kids real quick and then we'll be back. Okay, for this next one, I know it sounds kind of weird, but one of my roommates, she used to make what we called sausage bread. I don't have the recipe, but it was kind of like a crusty artisan bread loaf that had sausage in it, and I used to make fun of her because she would just leave it on the counter, and I thought it definitely needed to be in the fridge because it had sausage in it. But this is going to be my take on that sausage bread. You could make these into little rolls if you wanted, but I'm just going to make it as like a loaf, and then we can slice, do slices instead. Normally for these little pans, I do about 10 ounces worth of dough. I'm going to do about 8 ounces worth of dough, and then I'm going to put sausage and some cheese in the middle. 8.3, that's good enough for me. So I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. Her bread was really good, like dipped in a soup or just to eat it warm with some butter on it. Here we go. And if she sees this, she's probably gonna laugh at me thinking, now you're making it. You could be all fancy and you could cook this up with some onion and stuff like that to make it a little bit more juicy, if that makes any sense. And then I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on it. This may way overflow our pans, I have no idea. Ooh, I should have been doing it from the side so that I could eat more easily. Hold it. Okay, so you know how with a cinnamon roll, when you fold it, you want to kind of pull back? That's what I'm going to do with this as well, because I want the sausage to kind of be integrated in the dough, kind of smush it in there a little bit better. I don't want to do it too thin though, that the sausage is going to poke out of the bread or the cheese for that matter. I want to try and seal up all the edges. Okay, here's our little sausage and cheese loaf. Hopefully Hopefully it fits in here. I might have to squish it a little. There we go. I'm gonna make one more of those. Okay, this is always a favorite of everyone. I've never met a person who didn't like cinnamon swirl bread. You could do pretty much whatever in the middle you wanted. Maybe you could do chocolate chips or jalapeno cheddar. Okay, first I'm gonna, ooh, that's really, my kitchen is so cold. This is hard. Okay, we're just gonna spread some butter on this. That's what gets the cinnamon sugar to stick. Okay, I'm just gonna sprinkle these with cinnamon sugar. You could do raisins or nuts if you wanted. Pretty much you could put whatever. There's, at our local grocery store, they do cranberries and white chocolate, which would be very delicious. I don't have white chocolate though, so. Okay, now we just roll them up and put them in here. This is so good as toast in the morning. Some people dunk it in their hot chocolate. It's just, never met a person who doesn't like this. And I just try to tuck in the edges so that we don't get spills or crustiness coming out. Okay, that one's ready. Okay, now we've got 2 loaves of cinnamon sugar swirl bread. Okay, with this little last bit of dough here, we're gonna make some breadsticks. I didn't have enough for a full loaf, so I thought might as well just make some breadsticks while we're at it. Okay, that looks pretty darn good. Okay, in the bottom of this pan, I'm going to put a generous amount of butter. Then I'm gonna stick it in the warm oven for a little bit so that melts. While that's going, we'll go ahead and cut these. And it is way easy to cut these. We will just, this is kind of fat over here, so. Oh, so perfect, just like the ones at Little Caesars. And we gotta wait for that butter to melt. Okay, you've gotta be a little bit careful with this because this is hot now. But we're just going to pick this up and flip it over and put it in its spot. Well, I wasn't too off, so that's good. You want them touching a little bit so that they kind of puff up instead of puff out. And I gotta wash my hands first. Okay, to this pan of breadsticks, we're going to put some garlic salt on there. As well as some Parmesan cheese. Okay, now we gotta let these rise as well. You should see my counters. They are overflowing with bread things now. Okay, these breadsticks are the first of our things gonna go in the oven. For the little monkey bread, I'm gonna combine half of a cup of butter and a quarter cup of butter and a quarter cup of brown sugar in here to just make a little bit of a sauce. I don't want it to be too saucy. Okay, that's all the way melted. We're gonna add the brown sugar. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute so that I'm not putting piping hot stuff on this cold-ish dough because it was in the fridge. Oh my. Everyone, I just peeked in the oven because the smell of garlic and butter and Parmesan cheese is coming in my nostrils, and this is going to be a great dinner. Okay, this monkey bread is gonna get a good dose of brown sugar and butter. Then those garlic, when those garlic sticks come out, we'll go ahead and put this in. I didn't want to put it in at the same time because I didn't want garlic Parmesan monkey bread. Oh my heavens. This one on the end got a little toasty because it's smaller than the others, but oh, look at this. Delish, delish, delish. I have to wait for these to cool down a little bit before I can really touch them. But that's making me excited. Oh my heavens, you guys, can you see that there's a few missing? I had to try those out, and they are very delicious. That's the garlic bread that we have. Then the monkey bread just came out of the oven. I need to wait a few minutes before I can invert it. This is the cinnamon sugar bread, and then this is the sausage and cheese bread. And what we're gonna do now is take this off. Then we're gonna put this lovely dip in the middle. Oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. I'm gonna top it with a little cheese and put some pepperoni on half because my kids don't really like pepperoni. Oh, maybe we'll do sausage instead. I decided we're gonna do sausage because my kids don't very much like pepperoni. So we're gonna put sausage on here. Okay. It says to cover this with foil for the first 15 minutes while it is cooking. And then after 15 minutes, we're gonna take it off and it's going to continue to cook and brown the tops of the roll. That's what it's gonna do in theory. We'll see how this turns out. Okay, look at these beauties. These are the sausage and cheese, and then these back here are the cinnamon sugar. Before I take them out of the oven, I always like to make sure that they're at 180 degrees, just so that we don't have a doughy center or anything like that. This monkey bread is cooled down enough that I think, hopefully this will, oh, it's off, but it's too hot. Okay, oh, look at that fall apart. Okay, here's our beautiful monkey bread. Do you see all that sugar, oh, I better eat those. Oh, they're so light. Okay, this is our monkey bread. I'm glad I didn't put any more, oh, that's too hot to eat. Too hot to eat. But look at that beauty. I know some people like it a lot more gooey, but not me. As they come out, I've been sneaking a bite of everything. This is this is just too good. When Karsten gets home, he's gonna be like, what in the world went on today? We've got breadsticks, we've got monkey bread, we've got cinnamon bread, we've got sausage and cheese bread, we've got pizza dip, and I'm about to make scones. We've got to share this with someone. If we eat all of this, we're gonna have problems. But yeah. It just goes to show that one recipe of bread dough can make a whole lot of things. I'm gonna check on these real quick. Oh my heavens, guys. We're going to be eating very good tonight. Okay, so for these scones, I just got a little bit of bread, a little bit of dough in a ball, and then I patted it out. The oil needs to be at 350 to 375. Hoping it's not 375. Oh, it's too high. Gotta turn it down a little bit. Ah, it's too. I'm gonna take it off the thing for a minute because I don't want it to be too hot. Okay, we're at 370. So we're gonna go ahead and put one in, and I know that with the first one, it's always hit or miss whether it's gonna be too burned or too whatever. We're just gonna let that go for a few minutes. Well, not even minutes, for a few seconds. The best way that I like to eat these is with honey butter, or with a little bit of butter and you sprinkle either just normal sugar or cinnamon sugar on them, and oh my heavens. Or what you can also do is have Navajo tacos. There's tons of recipes for the bread for Navajo tacos, but if you're already making bread, you might as well just use the same recipe. I think the Navajo tacos might be a little bit sweeter. Not exactly sure, but this, it's very versatile. I'm trying to get this done before my husband gets home because Karsten does not like the smell of oil frying. You guys, okay, so for Navajo tacos, you would want to make these quite a bit bigger so that you could have like toppings on it. And I can hear this, let me see if you can find my hand. I can hear this, hopefully I don't burn myself, I can hear this sizzling. Oh my heavens, good thing my husband's like 15 minutes away from home, because that's what we're having for dinner. Okay, thanks for joining me today as I did a crazy bread, I can't really see it. As I had a crazy bread making day. We have this pizza skillet thing, we have the monkey bread, we have scones, we have breadsticks, we have cinnamon roll, cinnamon swirl bread, and we have this sausage cheese bread, which just take a look. Oh my heavens. Actually. You know what you could do? If you had a fried egg on top of that, that would be such a delicious breakfast. Toast it up a little bit with a fried egg on top. Oh my heavens. Okay, you know what? I went crazy today. But it's just to show that you can make a lot of things from one recipe, and it doesn't take a lot of ingredients to make a delicious meal for your family. So thanks for coming today, and if you liked this video and all of the ideas, if you would like and subscribe, that would be perfect. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Now I gotta go find someone to share all of this with.